Welcome back. Today I am going to do my collection room tour for 2022, and this will be a slightly updated version from the last one I posted. Not too different, but we'll talk about that. Mainly, I wanted to do this video before I opened up the enormous amount of Sailor Moon collection stuff that I have from the last 2-3 years, something like that. So I'm hoping that this will be a good video to do before I open up all those. Also, I just kind of didn't know when you guys wanted me to do this video, so I did a poll, and you guys was already ready for me to do this video. So this will be fun because it'll be a live stream, and then you guys can ask me questions about anything that I show, and we'll just discuss Sailor Moon stuff. So, but yeah, this collection video will be different from last times because I did change one major thing in my room, and that would be my bed. So my bed used to be sprawled out here in the room, which I changed so I could have all this open floor space down here. And this, of course, is my Super Sailor Moon rug that I got last year. But I wanted to majorly focus on getting this bed moved with all these plushes on it so then I could have that extra space. But because of that, I also kind of had to tighten up the bookshelf over here. Hi, Victory. Welcome. So then I could have this space. But it's a little tight back here to get to this area. But, I mean, you can still go back there. I usually put, like, my Sailor Moon bags back in here, which I pulled all those out so then I can get back here to show you that stuff. But yeah, I'm really excited about showing all my things, and well, I don't know what to do with half of these things, especially the plushes. I've been collecting all the GE plushes, which, of course, they're making tons of them. These two here, I just recently got. I have most of them up here on this wall, here, kind of back behind there. There's some behind all these things, which is really difficult to see. And I'm hoping to figure out another way to display them. I'm not quite sure just yet how I want to do that. But with that being said, we'll start over here on, I guess, this shelf here. We'll just discuss some of the things that I have. It's mainly these plushes here. I have all these in a net. These are mostly vintage plushes. I do have some newer ones mixed in there, and you might be able to tell. But yeah, you can't really see them all, which I'm kind of sad about. I wish there was a better way for me to kind of display these. But they work all right so far. And of course I take them down every once in a while when I get new ones and reorganize them. Then I have one of the stockings for Sailor Moon hanging there. But it looks pretty good as far as me having to display plushes, because plushes are ridiculously hard to display. And then, of course, over here, I do have some bootleg ones. Right there. When I first started collecting Sailor Moon, like, religiously, I was collecting a lot of bootleg stuff, and a lot of people were telling me that, hey, it's bootleg, and it kind of made me feel a certain kind of way, so I ended up getting rid of a lot of the stuff that I had and tried to focus more on official merchandise at that time. And in doing so, I did sell a lot of things, or give away a lot of things, but I did keep some things, and I thought the bootleg plushes were really cute, so I did keep them. Now, on this shelf here, I have a lot of little gashapon, mostly gashapon, but I do have the school uniform ones here. Hi, Yami. I'm glad I could help inspire you. It's a huge dedication to collect Sailor Moon stuff, and it's a lot of time, a lot of money, but it's a really fun hobby, so I'm glad I could help other people get into it. But yeah, this is mostly gashapon, except for the school uniform figures, which I absolutely love. I was really sad that they decided not to continue those, because I thought they were really popular, and a lot of people really got into them later on, which made the price of them skyrocket. But at least we have a Naru, which is awesome. And these are some of the pens from Sunstar. I just kind of put them in these glasses, which are different. But yeah. So next on this shelf here, I do have, well, I didn't really talk about these, but these are the little miniature tablet things I hung up there. And I kind of did the same thing with the with the figural key rings here. So that way you could see them really well. But on this shelf is mainly my Proplicas, and of course I don't have a lot of the new ones on here because I still have not opened them. Like I have the new Cutie Moon Rod, and I have the new Crystal Star locket and stuff, but they're still in the boxes. I haven't opened them yet. So I'm hoping I can do some live videos of me opening those, so. But yeah, I have a few little plush keychains here, and some little things here and there, kind of tucked on this shelf as well. But I really love the Proplicas. I wish they were a little less complicated. Like some of these other ones over here were a little bit more complicated to operate. You really have to look at the instructions or follow a tutorial or something. So, I don't know, but as far as aesthetically pleasing, they are definitely beautiful, and I love them. And then I have one pull-up doll over here. She's the only one I really wanted badly. I don't really like them very much, so she's the only one I ever got. But she is cute. I do like that she's very posable, and you can have her eyes closed and stuff, which is different. And then down here on this shelf is, of course, all my Funkos. Oh, thank you. A huge part of my childhood. That's awesome. Thank you very much. I appreciate that comment. That was really nice. But down here is, of course, my Funko Pop collection. And I have some of the Viz coins down here as well. And these are the, I think the Figuarts minis or something. I can't remember what they were called. You guys probably know. It's hard for me to remember some of the names of some of these figures. But I did buy 2 of those so I could open a set, because these are really nice. I love these Funko Pops there. But I do have all the Funko Pops, which I'm hoping eventually they make more of. But I don't even know if Funko still has the licensing, so it's kind of sad. And here are some of the little gashapon that came out quite a while back. They came out in a series. And I just have them kind of hung up there. Some of them don't point the correct way. But as far as keeping them out where I can see them, I thought that would work all right. And then down here on the bottom shelf, I have some of these little magnet clips. These are vintage magnets. And then I have some of the vintage dolls. And they're various ones. These ones here I actually customized. And then I have some of the Viz releases back there, which now they're making more of. So who in the chat is going to be getting the new Viz releases? I'm very curious. Because a lot of people already got these ones, the limited edition ones. So, and these ones here were already expensive enough. So I'm curious if anybody else is going to collect those. And these are the musical boxes here. It came out in Gashapon, which I don't think I've ever made a video of, but I've had them for a while. And then some cute posket figures. These are the mini ones, which I'm curious if they'll ever make some more mini ones. They're making the larger ones a lot now. And these, of course, are some of the Irwin and Bandai release dolls from the 90s. The little 6-inch ones. So yeah, and these ones here are these ones here in the back, just with some of the Japanese dresses I kind of customized. So not too different. You didn't even know there were mini Q poskets. Yeah, they made some a few years back. They made them in a series. I think yeah, they made like a set 1, set 2, and a set 3 of those. I think I did videos of those when they released. So if you want to know more about them, check my channel. I think I have all those on there. And then over here are some Universal Studios Japan plushes. And these are Ichiban Kuji here. And these are more prize plushes here, which I didn't collect all of. I just kind of collected which ones I thought were the cutest, or which one I was favorite to. And I thought anything Saturn is kind of rare after it releases for some reason. So since we're over here on this side now, I guess we'll talk about all the stuff on the very top shelf, because it's going to be kind of difficult to talk about just one section and then move down. So I have the Twinkle dolls here in the front. And I didn't collect all these at first. And then after they released, I started trying to collect and finish them. Which was a little bit more challenging because the outers here were really popular and rare. But I eventually did get them. So then up here, I have, of course, the G plushes, as I said. And there's some back behind there as well, which you can kind of see. And what's kind of frustrating is I want to eventually take all this stuff down and rearrange the plushes to make them more visible or change their order and stuff. I just haven't got around to that because they keep releasing more of them. But I have some more plushes. This is a Irwin plush from the 90s. And then, of course, this plush set came out in Japan a few years ago. And then I have the Eternal Sailor Moon alarm clock, which I just love. And then this here came from Monogram. It's a bank. You can actually get that bank a lot of different places. I think Hot Topic, Box Lunch, and Hobby Lobby even had this bank. So she's out there in circulation pretty good. And then behind here is Queen Serenity and King Endymion, I think, set. Can't really see it right now, but it's back there. And then this castle here is from Japan. It's one of the vintage 90s toys, and it's a play set, basically. I wanted this for so many years, and finally, a few years ago, I finally got it. And these are all the little figures you're supposed to use to play with it. I think some of these are Japanese, and then other ones are North America release. But they all kind of look very similar, so. And then these are some of the gashapon dollies. I can't remember their exact name, but they have real hair. And I had these ones for the longest time, the outers. And then I finally got the inners, which is actually more rare than these ones. So I was happy to eventually get them. And then back here is the pizza set. or pizza playset, which goes with some dolls. And there's actually a full line of this pizza set. There's like a register and I guess a pizza cart where she can deliver the pizzas and stuff. This is one of those kind of obscure Sailor Moon releases, but it's kind of cool because you can rotate the pizzas in there and then they fall into a little oven and then you put them in the pizza box. It's really cute. And then that goes with it over here, which holds the telephone and a little basket and stuff. It's quite adorable. Now we'll go back here, and this side has some clocks from the 90s, North America release. And then I have a Neo Queen Serenity doll, which I actually made and customized. And then we have a 12-inch King Endymion and Professor Tomoe right there. And then continuing on with the Twinkle dollies, which that's all of them there. And then, of course, along this wall is more vintage Sailor Moon plushes. Tons of vintage ones. I'm actually not sure if I should take these down and put them in the net or what to do, because, like I said, I want to put more of the GE ones up as they come out, so not quite sure about that yet. Now we're on to bookshelf number 2. And this one here has more of the miniaturely tablets along the top. And this one here is kind of twisted the wrong way. I was kind of hoping that they would keep the loops, the hanging loops, because they're supposed to go on bags, I assume. I wish they would keep them in a special spot on each one so that they all hang forward, but they never did that. Some of them are hanging in a weird way. And then this is my Figuarts collection, the SH Figuarts. And some gashapon wands in the background. I have a love-hate relationship for the SH Figuarts line. Mainly because of the way they're releasing them and how fragile they are. Like, I had to get 2 black ladies, or wicked ladies, whichever one you like to prefer, because of her pigtails breaking. So since then, I don't even want to touch her. I just leave her there because I'm afraid that one's going to break too. And plastic becomes kind of brittle over time too. So that's another reason why I'm like really afraid to really mess with these too much. And they've also released various color versions, which doesn't make me want to get them anymore. So I don't know. They're a cool concept, but I think Tamashii Nation's having the license to make a posable Sailor Moon figure, I didn't think they did a very good job. But, you know, it is what it is. For anybody that missed out on the original release of them, the new, like, anime color versions would have been nice for them to get. I did pre-order the Eternal Sailor Moon one, which I'm going to put there when she releases. But, I don't know, it's because she's Eternal Sailor Moon. That's mainly why I ordered that one. I didn't order any of the other ones. I do have the Supers ones, though, which I just kept in the box because of the fact they break so easy, so. And then these ones are, I can't remember what the name of these ones are. I'm trying to remember. I think I did a video on these a while back. But they are prize figures. So they sit. And they're really cool. Like the Mars one, though, she kind of wants to tilt to the left because of the way her hair moves. So I actually had to put a little bit of tacky poster stuff on her to keep her from falling over. But they are pretty awesome figures. I was kind of hoping they'd make the outers of them, but every time I like a figure, they don't ever release the rest of them. So, and these ones were affordable ones too. So, I don't know. It's frustrating being a fan of the Sailor Moon figures line when they do that. And then here is more of the figural key rings. which I absolutely love these. I mean, a lot of people don't like their faces, but I mean, for a tiny figure release, this is awesome that they're making so many characters and variations of their wands and stuff. And then I have some more vintage keyring plushes here, which I absolutely love as well. And then I've been collecting the air fresheners from Box Lunch, which I have some there. And then over here on this side, I have more of them kind of tucked in there. But I might end up moving those eventually because they keep releasing more of them. And then this shelf and this shelf I recently changed. So if you go back and look at my old video, me sharing my collection, you'll notice that those ones have changed. Because I wanted to show off my little Petite Chara figures a little bit better. And I think this looks more pleasing. But I have some of the figural sets here. And these are from Monogram as well. But they released them for, I think, Comic-Con a few years ago. And I have both versions. They released one at the convention, and then they released one for, I think, Entertainment Earth. So you had to order it off of their website. And then, of course, over here, I have some of the little cups. And I think I got all these from J-List, like, a really long time ago. I've never taken them out of the plastic. Because the plastic kind of protects them from getting scratched, so I find that a little bit easier to display. And then these are, of course, the... Oh, man. I'm trying to remember. The Crystal Figuarts or the Figuarts Zero figures. They're really awesome. They're definitely different. Like, a lot of people didn't like the pearlescent kind of paint that's on them, but it's a new kind of touch for the Crystal figures line. And I kind of liked it. I didn't like the changes they made releasing these. Like, as you can see, some of the stands are more translucent, and then Uranus over there, her bow is not translucent. It's more filled in. So I'm not quite sure why they decided to do that on her stand. But yeah. I do think they're really cool and worth having. And then, of course, Uranus and Neptune, you can put their figures together on one stand, which I didn't do because I didn't think I had enough space for it. But one of these days, maybe I'll try doing that for a video or something. But they're really pretty. I do like them a lot. And then here are the gashapon watches, which I put them on watch stands, and they look really awesome that way. So if you're looking for a way to display those, if you have them, that worked for me. So, and you can find those on Amazon, the watch stands. They're really cool. And then these new gashapon figures here for Eternal. And then these here, I've had for a while, these figures, which I don't have the whole set of those. I just recently got like the pearlescent ones like a couple of years ago. I wasn't sure if I wanted to collect all those, so I didn't. But there are a lot of people that really love these figures. And they were prize figures. And the problem with certain prize figures, depending on how hard they are to obtain in Japan, the prices can be kind of expensive. So it's just something to look forward to if you're trying to collect these. And there are, of course, bootlegs of them, as most of the Sailor Moon stuff is. So watch out for that. So that is that shelf. And of course, if I skip over something, you guys can let me know or ask me a question about it. I know I didn't talk about that figure there, which is the Ichiban Kuji figure. Which, there are two different versions of her. The Ichiban Kuji figures, I'm not really too interested in getting like the limited, like rare version of it. So this is just the standard one, but she's really unique. And I don't think there's any bootlegs of her, which is awesome. But yeah. So on this shelf here, of course, you're going to see a lot of the Petite Charas. And I do have all of them, but they're not all displayed. I do have another one of these like stair shelves that eventually I will put here and move these to another shelf. But that's what I have currently until I go to open those, which I'm thinking I will open those on live streams, but I haven't decided yet. But first we'll talk about these. These are more of the bag clips, the figure bag clips, and of course these are the ones I opened in my last live stream. So if you guys saw that. And I told you guys I had a spot for them, and that's where I put them. And they're really cool. There's another look at the barrel one, which is awesome. I love her. She's really neat. I like the design of these a lot. And I like that Usagi is winking. But we'll take a look at the Petite Charas. And of course, like I said, I don't have them all displayed. There are some in another room that are still in the box that eventually I will open. But these are the ones I have so far. And these are really adorable. I'm kind of shocked that they don't still make these. Maybe they ran out of ideas, but there are a lot of other villains they can make and stuff, so I'm not quite sure why they stopped making them. And then behind them are the wands from Sunstar, which they came out in 2 different sets. The back of this one you can't really see, but that is like the first season transformation wands, and of course that's our season. And then I have a little picture of Sailor Moon back there that came in one of the newer releases of the manga in Japan. And these, of course, are more Figuarts figures. And these ones are kind of, I don't know, I like them. I was kind of sad they didn't come out with any more. And because of that, they kind of, I don't know, their price went skyrocketing. Do you remember your first Sailor Moon merch in your collections? Yes, I do, actually. The first thing I ever collected was this Sailor Moon doll right here. She is a Bandai 6-inch Sailor Moon doll from the 90s. I actually got her from Ames department store back when I was like, I think I was 13, 12 or 13 at the time. She's the very first thing I ever collected. Personally, myself, I think my parents got me a Sailor Moon poster and a VHS before that. But I don't really count those ones because the doll is actually something that I got myself with my own money. So, but yeah, that was way back. Oh, I think in like 96, 97. I was out with a friend and we stumbled upon them and I was like really excited because I'd never seen anything for Sailor Moon out in the wild before. So that was really awesome. So on this shelf here, I have the gashapon little figures, like keyring figures, I guess. And they released a lot of these a few years ago, which I have them all, but they're like, more of them are down that way, which I'll show you eventually. But they're really adorable, and they actually made some figures based off of these recently. And I have those too, but I haven't opened them yet. But for little figures, they're painted pretty nicely. I do like them a lot. I like their poses. So basically on this shelf here, I have a lot of my Pretty Guardian fan club cards. Well, actually, I think they're all there. I moved these around recently. So yeah, these are all the ones that I've currently released so far. And some of the prizes are down here. The prizes are kind of, I don't know, I'm probably like overstepping my bounds saying this, but they're kind of controversial because I guess a lot of these were released based off of older stuff that came out for Sailor Moon. For other, like 90s, I guess, like shoujo manga releases for Sailor Moon. So they were kind of special to a certain set of fans that wanted to get them. But I do like them a lot. And of course there's some necklaces and a watch. I've never wore any of these, and I don't intend to, even though they look really nice. But yeah, I'm not quite sure. So let me see what kind of questions you guys are asking me, because I'm missing your questions. What G plush do you hope to see released? I would love to see a Prince Endymion one, because they came out with a Princess Serenity one, and there's no Prince Endymion merchandise very much. So, I mean, I have a little figure of him here, but I want more, because I really like that version of Tuxedo Mask, Mamoru, whatever you say. Yeah, I really like to see a Prince Endymion one, for sure. What new figure or replica would you get the most excited? That's a good question. I really like the Stallion Reeve, and I really want to see a Proplica of that. But I mainly want to see a Proplica of that so the vintage one will go down in price. That's what I'm hoping for, because I've been trying to collect some of the 90s old RPG toys, I guess. And I've had them on my wish list for quite some time. And I'm kind of hoping that eventually they come out with a Stallion Reeve and a Proplica form, so that way I can collect it, but also try to get the vintage one in a lot cheaper price. Because it goes for, like, even used, missing some of the little figures and stuff, it still goes in like the $700 range. And I really want that to come down to something more reasonable, so that would be my answer. How long do you dust your collection? I don't know. Not very often, really. Down here in this room, there's no real circulated air, and I'm the only one who comes in here. So I don't really have a huge dust problem, but if I see a dust problem, then I will probably just take care of it on that particular shelf. But I haven't really had to do that since I've moved in here, to be honest. So I don't really dust too often. What characters are you wanting more merch of? I want more royal merch, like Prince Endymion, Princess Serenity, that kind of thing. Maybe, I like to see more Queen Serenity, like her mom, you know. That hasn't really happened yet, so I'm hoping eventually we'll have some of that. So, for this shelf, for this shelf here, I have the Moonlight Memories series compacts. I recently got these stands, which I absolutely love. They work really well. I had some of the more easel stands that kind of like folded in like a V shape, but they didn't work very good for these, and I was afraid they were going to keep falling down and get scratched and stuff. But these are perfect, and I had them up so you can actually see them from afar, so that worked great. And they're so beautiful displayed this way. And they all fit in here perfectly, which I was kind of shocked about, because this one here is huge, obviously. So, yeah, it takes up a lot of space. And then over here I have the issue of Sailor Moon that was a special release in Japan. And then they had the regular release here with the rest of them, which I have the original release of the manga here, and the 10th anniversary ones over there, which I absolutely love as well. They're all wrapped in plastic. I don't ever take them out. They're just there because I wanted them and I love them, so. It's like, if you want to protect your books, but you don't have plan to really read them a lot, wrap them in plastic. That way it keeps them from getting dust on them. Highly recommend. And then this is the humidifier. I did a video on that a while back. It's really awesome. There's like a ton of bootlegs of it now, which looks exactly like this one. So, you know, it's going to be difficult to collect this if you want the like original official one, I guess. but they don't look anything different than this one, so it's really your preference. And then I have the one figure from this line that came out over here, which I did a video of as well. It's really sad that they didn't do too much with this line. I guess they didn't want to compete with the Figuarts line. I'm not quite sure, but she's really different, and she's pretty. I do like her a lot. It's kind of sad that they didn't release any more of those. But that is pretty much that shelf. Now here I have some of the excellent figures. This is the Sailor Moon one, which I actually repaired her bun and her pigtail. It was broken off when I bought her, but that's why I got like a really amazing deal on her. She was really easy to fix. I didn't mind doing it for a good price. And she was missing her wand, so I actually made her a wand out of the figural keyring of that particular wand, which is a perfect size for her. And her stand is one of those doll stands, but it works out. And then, of course, over here, I have the Super Sailor Moon one, which I actually bought her brand new in the box, and I was kind of debating not opening it, but she looks amazing displayed open, so I don't know. I don't plan on ever selling her unless I have to one of these days. So I didn't really mind it. But she's really awesome. And then down here on this shelf is a lot of my Japanese books. I have some of the art books in here. Some of the animation art books. I think I have all the animation art books. I don't yet have all the manga art books. I'm hoping eventually I will one day. I'm very, very picky on price. So if I don't find a perfect price, I do not buy it. So I know there's a lot of people that really are big into these and probably will pay any price to get them, or nearly any price, but I'm very, very picky. So eventually I will finish that collection. And then over here is some more like different magazines and children's books. I actually have some children's books. And then this is the musical booklets that came out. And I think that's some more like just regular magazines over here. And then we have newer releases of the manga that came out in Japan. These are the Eternal ones, and these are the newer like pocket versions that came out. And I'm very big on collecting the Sailor Moon manga from Japan. And I just recently found out they're going to release it again. So I don't know where I'm going to put it. But if you want to get into collecting Japanese books, definitely go to Amazon Japan or CD Japan. That's where I got some of these newer ones. Best place to get those. Amazon Japan is a little bit more pricey because they ship DHL. But right now, due to like COVID and stuff, that's basically how things are being shipped out of country anyways. So just make sure you're ordering a bunch of books at once and it makes it worth it. And then I have some, I don't know, I think these are bootleg watches. But I've had them for a long, long time, so I just have them there. And then this is a lanyard from Monogram. Whoa. Yeah. Which I have. They released two versions of this. This is the Comic-Con one, and they released one from Entertainment Earth as well. Same way with those back there. The little pin sets. But yeah, that's basically that shelf. Now I'll look at your guys' comments again, because I'm missing some. Alright, what is your absolute favorite vintage item that you own? I'm not sure. That's a very tough question. I would probably have to pick some of my vintage wands, which I'll eventually get to show you guys. But that's something that when I was a little girl and I first got into Sailor Moon, I would have died to have, but I didn't even know existed other than some of the like Bandai Irwin released ones. which I didn't really realize those, a lot of those existed until much later either. So, but yeah, definitely the wands, I would say. I can't really pick from those exactly which wand. They're all really awesome. Probably the Eternal one, but I didn't even know Eternal existed. Like the Star series existed, so I don't know. Definitely one of those. That's all I can say. Let's see. Where was I on the next one? Did you pre-order the Crisis Brooch Proplica? Yes, I did. I'm still waiting for it to release. I don't know when it comes out. I think it was either Big Bad Toy Store or Entertainment Earth. I've been pre-ordering most of the stuff that comes out from Entertainment Earth just due to the amount of stuff that's coming out that I want, and the price of shipping now is outrageous because of everything. So I think it was Entertainment Earth I got that from, but yeah, I'm just waiting for it to release at this point. Do you read other mangas? Yes, I have a lot of different series that I have. Fushigi Yugi, Inuyasha. There's a bunch of, like, I'm really big into the slice of life stories, like ones about like high schoolers and stuff like that, and romance and things like that. Maybe one day I'll share some of those with you guys, but yeah, I do read a lot of different series. Do you have any of the Sailor Moon games? I have one still for Super Famicom. Yes, I do. I think I have most of them. I think the only one I'm missing is the Super's fighting game that came out in Super Famicom. I'm still trying to find that one eventually. Let's see. Did you see the Kagura musical? I have not yet. I heard there are places to watch it. I can't recommend any, but I'm pretty sure there are places to watch it right now. I just don't know if those are still accessible, because I heard that Japan is releasing it online for people to watch, but I think it was a limited time, so I may or may not have missed my chance to see it. I'm hoping eventually they release it in some kind of form over here. I know a lot of people that would really like to see it, so I think that would be amazing if they did that. For what I know, the version that was available or is available, not quite sure, but it's not subtitled. So that's my only complaint about that. I wish they would release these for us to view and everybody else to view in all the other countries in the languages, different languages, so they could see them. Because they are amazing, especially the newer ones. The one I saw was subtitled. Oh, awesome. I wonder if it was an official release or was a fan sub. But that's very awesome if they did. I wish they would release it on DVD. Yes, same here. You can get the Japanese DVD, but it's like $7 for that release. It's not subtitled, so it's hard for me to pay that price and still I can't understand what they're saying. So oh, one more question. I have been after the vintage Sailor Moon Crystal transformation wand that you showed in your vintage wand shelf. Any tip on how to find it at a decent price? Well, I just recently got that one, to be honest with you. I bought it from a fellow collector that sold it to me from her collection, because I think she bought a in-box version. And so she was selling the opened one that she had for a cheaper price than what anybody else had it for. Because I've been trying to get that one for a really long time, but like I said, I'm very picky on price. So she got it for an amazing price. And I've been seeing it in the $200-$300 range, even missing some of the little crystals and stuff that go in the little circle part. But yeah, all I could say is maybe Mandrake. They also have an eBay store. There's Yahoo Japan auctions, which you can access through different proxy services like From Japan. And let's see, the one I used before was, oh, I'm trying to remember what that one was called. I haven't bought anything on Yahoo Japan auctions in quite some time. But it's way simpler to find better prices for the Japanese merch if you can buy from somebody that is in Japan or in other countries that also collects Sailor Moon. It's tough because you never know when that's going to happen with vintage merchandise. So that's all I can really say on that. Look out for other collectors. Other collectors won't price gouge as much as people that just want to make money off Sailor Moon. And there's a lot of those out there. But we'll go on to shelf number 3, which is this one here. And I guess we'll talk about these first. These are the Universal Studios Japan ribbons. And I have all of them, which I got these ones recently from another amazing Sailor Moon collector. And I never did a video of them. So maybe with this newer release of USJ stuff, maybe I'll go back and look at these ones. Because I kind of got behind on so many things. And I never got to share them with you guys. But I have all of them. And they're releasing new ones, but I decided not to get those ones. Because I didn't think they were as nice as the original ones I released. I think those were a lot nicer. So here is more of the miniaturely tablets. And they're called miniaturely tablets in case I didn't say, because they're actually candy holders. You can twist off areas like the tops and you can put candy inside of them. They came with candy originally. I don't know, like the candy was kind of like cheap, so I never tried it. But it looked like those cheap little hearts from Valentine's, but like in a circle shape. They looked really cheap, so I never tried it. But the little wands and stuff were really pretty, so. Some of these I had to get clever in hanging them, as you can see on these ones. They're not hanging perfectly, and if I hang them like this, they don't kind of line up with the other ones. So I never really messed with them too much. I just kind of kept them like that. But this is another figure shelf. And I have some of the, I think this is a fan club exclusive gashapon-esque wands back here. They were like the pearlescent paint ones. And they had stands that came with them, which was awesome. I'm a little scared of them because of the pearlescent paint. I don't like messing with them too much, because I'm afraid I'm going to like scratch the paint on them. But they are gorgeous to look at. And I have some of the like, little mini figures over here, which I have some other ones of those. But these ones here actually came with stands, which the original ones did not. So I wish there was a way to duplicate those stands so I could like make stands for the other ones that I have. But they're really cool. I do like them. And these are my framed version of the gashapon compacts that originally released. I have 2 sets of those. I decided I wanted to frame one of them, and the other one is displayed on like little easel stands. And then I had the Figuarts Zero figure of Princess Serenity, which they originally released this one. And then they released this Chibiusa, or small lady version, with Pegasus. And they re-released this one recently with a different colored moon, but I didn't buy that one. I'm really not interested in repurchasing variations of a figure that I already got. It seems like a waste of money. Now, if there was nothing else of Sailor Moon coming out, like the new Q-Poskets or like Proplicas and stuff, then I might consider it. But I'm just like, I have limited space as it is, and I really don't want to continue on buying variations of figures that I already have. So maybe one day I'll go back and get that one, but as currently I'm not too interested. And then these are the original Q Poskets. This one of Sailor Moon. And this one of Princess Serenity, which I absolutely love. And this one here is by Good Smile of Usagi in like a maid outfit. This one would have been great to have a whole series of, but of course that's the only one we got. She's a little pricey originally, and now she's even more pricey. But she was painted perfectly. She was beautiful. I'm really sad they didn't come out with more of those. And then this one here of Neo Queen Serenity is a Ichiban Kuji figure, which they had, like a lot of the other Ichiban Kujis, there's a more expensive limited release colored version. Like she's, I guess, prismatic or something. Or maybe it's because of her jewel. I think the jewel on the little crystal that she's sitting on is like pink or something. I just bought that one. That was the only one I wanted. And then here are the mystery minis, which is another thing I didn't get all of. The two I customized here at the end. I did get both Sailor Chippy Moons and the Mistress 9 one. But these were another one of those things that they're blind box figures, and they were being heavily scalped, and I didn't want to overpay for them, so I just got which ones I could, and I left it at that. And then I customized some. Like these two I customized. And I thought they looked cute, so I just kind of left it at that. And this is another one of the, I think, Figuarts minis. Like the one that it's kind of like a Nendoroid, but it's not. I have the Chippy Moon one and the Saturn one, but they're still in the boxes. So maybe one day I'll finally open them and display them. But that was the Sailor Moon one. And of course that line eventually got canceled and they never made any more. Which was kind of sad. But they made a Saturn one, which is amazing. They were like, okay, if anybody gets any of these, we'll make Sailor Moon, Chibi Moon, and Saturn, because everybody gets Saturn because of how rare her merchandise is. So it was kind of funny. So here on this shelf, well, first before I do that, let me look at your questions, see if I missed any questions. Can we see your Irwin dolls? Yes, I will get to that shelf very soon. Did you get the new Figuarts Zero of Super Sailor Moon from the Eternal movie? Yes, I did. I don't know when she's going to come out. I bought her from Entertainment Earth, I do believe. So it's going to be US release. So really depends. It'll be a month, maybe two, she'll release here. But yes, I did. I got her. So on this shelf here, I have more of the Figuarts key rings for Sailor Moon. So all the school uniform ones, which was awesome that they made all of them. A lot of people will see like companies release like the first 5 and then they'll go back and they'll release the outers, but this one was the whole set, so I really like that. And then here is more figures, of course, because there's so many of them. These ones were the prize figures that came out. I was able to actually get these all on one go after they all released. And I did a video of these not too long ago. So if you want close-ups of those, definitely check that video out. But these are really nice figures. They're not, I don't know, fantastically painted. They're kind of like a matte paint, not a pearlescent or anything. But to have like the whole line of figures from all of the Guardians is really awesome to have. So definitely a pickup if you want to get into Sailor Moon figure collecting. So, and then behind those are like the pearlescent versions of the first season wands. You can kind of see there. Those ones came in a box as well as these ones did. And I have some like little miniature figures kind of around them because I needed a place to put those at the time. And then, of course, these are from Sailor Moon Eternal gashapon figures. And then I have some of the little dessert ones. I don't know, like, I think these were made by Petite Chara as well, or in that line of figures. And then these are all gashapons here, which these I got stands for as well. These are like the same kind of stands as the Moonlight Memory ones that I have, but a little smaller. So if you're looking for some stands for anything like Sailor Moon brooches, compacts, that kind of thing, these stands are amazing. They work perfectly for that. So, and these all open up. I think they're supposed to be like pill containers or maybe candy containers. But yeah, those worked really good for that. So here is the next shelf. So this one is, of course, my Irwin dolls, which I have a lot of, and I wish you could see them better. Maybe I'll do a video on Instagram kind of showing these off. I did start posting pictures of these on Instagram, the ones that I have, and some of these ones up front is custom ones. But yeah, this is the whole line. I have the outers back there, and these are the inners in the front, kind of. I have some custom ones back there. But yeah, they're really hard to display because I kind of want them all on one shelf, but I have so many, I'm not quite sure where to put them all. And I don't have a whole lot of space either, but I have a Cosmo figure back there, which I have a picture of on my DeviantArt. But yeah, I like customizing dolls and cleaning them up. I just recently took this whole shelf down, cleaned all these dolls. I washed their hair, their outfits, everything, and then I reassembled them, put them back. And they look really beautiful now. But yeah, that was like a weekend project that I did, clean them all up. But yeah, I have all of them from the 2000 era. Now I'm kind of working on getting some of the 90s ones, which I have a few so far. I'll show some of those here soon, but yeah. That's my Irwin dolls. And then, of course, here's some gashapon. Like, these are like little mini mirrors. They have mirrors on the back. And I think I have all of those. It's been a while. I used to do videos on every single little gashapon set that I'd get. But now there's so many. So I don't really keep up with that as much anymore. But I do get the ones that I really like. And these ones I really did like. So on this shelf here, before I do that, let me look at your questions. Make sure I didn't miss any questions. Because I like kind of answering you guys' questions. That's the whole point of this. Okay, I think I got all your questions still. All right, so on this shelf here, I have more of the manga. It's like, this is the Tokyo Pop release, and I have some of the novels here, the Smile novels that came out. Actually, I think I have them all. Yeah, these are all of them. And then they came out with like a TV version where they kind of broke down some of the episodes in like a novel book. And then there's some scout guides here. So yeah, I collected like all of those. I remember seeing these at a local bookstore and I wasn't allowed to buy them because they were very, very expensive. So when I got older, I eventually did collect them all. So I was happy about that. You'll notice one thing about my collection is I don't really keep certain things together that go together. Just kind of like, hey, there's a spot, I'll put something there. But I do try to make sure everything's seen if I'm able to. I have the communicator lip gloss back there, which I don't really have displayed out of the box. But it's basically the watches, but they're little lip glosses, which is cool. And I have some of the, I think those are the little charms, Sailor Moon back there in the box. Mixed in with some Funkos that I opened. I have all all my Funkos in the box, and then any ones that are open are spares that I collected. And then a box or a bag of candies that I never opened. The lady that gave them to me, she said, totally eat these. They're delicious. And I never did because I'm like, oh, destroy the packaging. So I never did eat them, unfortunately. Then down here, I have most of the let's use the compacts with the makeup in them. I'm trying to remember who made those. But I had the blush, and this one here just recently came out, which I got a little stand for. I have most of them in this display case to kind of preserve them a little better. But I had no room for that one because that brooch is always huge no matter who comes out with it. So I just kind of put it on a stand. It works out. But I have some of the brushes back there. I just have that brush, and that's the lipstick or lip balm. And this here is actually a gashapon that's out on the stand. The actual like lipstick one is in here. And then these are the Moonlight Memory series star lockets. Both the gold and the pink one. If you want a star locket, this one's really nice to get. I was always hoping that the Proplica or the Tamashii company would make a Proplica of them, but they never seem to want to do that. So we're still waiting to see if that ever happens. But these are really nice to have. I think that the music is a little sped up when you wind it really tightly. That's my only complaint with these, but they are really nice to look at. And then, of course, I have the E2046 Human Luna here, which I did a video on. Gorgeous figure. It would be really cool if they did one of Artemis to go with her. But, you know, she's really, really nice. I love how long her hair is. And then down here I have some of the little wedding figures they released, which were really nice. I wish they would have made more of those as well. They're just tiny little things, but they have a lot of detail to them. And they made all of them, like all the the inners, but they didn't make the outers, but they're really cute. And then this one here, I can't remember what that one is. I think this is the clip case, I do believe. Like Sunstar came out with like clip case versions of some of the Sailor Moon items, like they did the Stallion Reeve. I don't have the Stallion Reeve one, but this is the Chalice one they released. And these are little gashapon perfume bottles. Not actual perfume in them, but they have like a scent to them, which is nice. And I have Neptune's mirror back there. And then these are some Stallion Reeve items. I think Sunstar made both of these. That one's the fragrance one. So, I don't know. But yeah, this one was definitely Sunstar, I do believe. It's like a necklace. But yeah, I'm trying to remember all these. There's like so many different releases of these, which is hard to keep up. I have some of the calendars that released in North America over here. These are by Go Calendars, I do believe. And this is an Italian Sailor Moon doll, the only one that I have. I recently got her and fixed her up. I love her so much. She's got the cutest little face. And I wish I can get more of these, but they're kind of obscure to find. Unless you're like, I think most of them show up on like Italian based sites. Because I don't see them on eBay, so I'm not quite sure. But that's them. And this shelf here. And then, of course, here's more of these little hanging figures that are gashapon. These are all the outer ones, including Sailor V, of course. So let's check your comments again so I kind of see if I missed any. What other pop culture do you want to see? Here the Sailor Moon and Hello Kitty are together for the 30th anniversary. I'm not sure. I haven't really thought about that. I really am like excited for the Hello Kitty collaboration with Sailor Moon. The first one was really nice. The only thing I didn't like was the hard way to get some of the items that came out. They were kind of sold out for the longest time, and they took a really long time to restock them. So a lot of people missed out on them. I think it's mainly because of scalpers. That's usually what happens. But I'm not real sure. That's a very good question. I'd have to think about that. There's a lot of possibilities. But the Sanrio one is like amazing. I can't wait to see what they release for it. But yeah, really awesome idea for Sanrio and Sailor Moon to have a collaboration again. But we'll go on to the next shelf. So this shelf here has a lot of 90s North America stuff. So I have some of the little keychains that released. This is not all of them. I think there were other ones, but these are the ones I ended up getting at the time. But these all released in North America. And this one over here, which is a Neo Queen Serenity, King Endymion type of keychain. This one was actually by E2046. This is the very first thing I ever bought from them. And I really liked it. It's Neo Queen Serenity, which I absolutely love. So I had to have her. So next we'll look at what's on the shelf, and it's mainly, I don't know, folders. We got trading card binders, which I have a lot of the trading cards, but I don't have all of them. And the Series 3 ones I have, I don't know if I got all those or not. I can't remember. I haven't looked at these binders in quite a while, and if I don't look at them, I end up forgetting. I actually do have a album on my Facebook page that has the ones I'm missing from these sets, because I was very hardcore into collecting them all at one point, but then they got kind of obscure and hard to find, so I kind of fell out of it. But I ended up getting a lot of the binders, which was awesome because they are pretty hard to find. So, but I do have some of the books, some children's books. I have the role-playing game book. I have 2 of the complete books that goes with that role-playing book. And then the mixed scenes, which I did a video on those, which if you haven't checked that out, I did it a long time ago, but if you haven't checked that video out, definitely check it out because it shows how odd the release for the Sailor Moon manga was here originally in the United States, and it was really hard to get into because they switched the release for the manga 3 different times. So I ended up having to search and find to collect all of these. It started in Mixzine, then it went to like Smile magazine, and then they released it in actual book form. It was all over the place, so check that out if you're interested in that. And I have the comic books here, which are in plastic, and those were all part of that one release because they just didn't know what to do. I guess they kept changing it. And then I have the other monogram lanyard here with the pens on it, and I have a good chunk of the Sailor Moon jewelry that came out in North America. It's all kids jewelry, all like costume like. But I remember finding like these original ones here that are in these little star-shaped holders and these rings here when I was a kid, and I was so excited about it. I ended up giving some of these away to friends, which I kind of regretted later on because then I only had one of them left. But I was like so excited about getting them, so I wanted to share the love. But they're really awesome. Very nostalgic pieces in my collection for me. Alright, so let's see if there's any more questions in case I missed them. I want to get a drink of water before I continue. So I'm talking a lot. All right, so yeah, I think I'm good on questions. Had to get a drink of water, guys. All right, so we'll look at this shelf next. And I have to kind of tuck in here a little bit to kind of see where I'm at without knocking things over. But this is kind of like my North America Sailor Moon shelf. And it has a lot of the Irwin dolls, Irwin figures, Irwin mini plushes back here. And I have that crazy moon cycle back there as well. But yeah, this is just an homage shelf to 90s North America Sailor Moon. Which I need to reorganize, which I eventually will do, but as it goes now, this is kind of what I have. And I have some 6-inch box Sailor Moon figures in the back, which are all the villains. But I don't have them where you can see them very good, unfortunately. But it has a lunch box there, which the thermos is inside of it. And I have the Luna P ball. And a couple of the dolls over here. And up here at the top, I have more of the miniaturely tablets. Which these ones actually hang a little better, I think. They put the little loop at the top to make it a little easier. At least on me anyways. And then along the side here, I have the Eternal Sailor Moon plush from Japan. I have the little bow from Universal Studios Japan, which they made a whole series of these, like a whole like Mercury, Mars, Jupiter, and Venus as well, which I wish I would have got, but I only got the moon one, so. And then I got the little Luna one, Luna and Artemis. And then they released these ones the second time. So these ones were the first ones they released, and then they released them again with Diana, which was awesome. Now let me fix something, because I knocked it over when I was back there, because that's what happens. Alright, I fixed it. Alright, so the next shelf is kind of like my Japanese, I guess, doll collection. Not all of them, but some of them that I can share. But first I'll talk about the figural key rings or bag clips, whatever you want to call them. Because these ones are actually the bag clips this time. This is when they decided to put like a little background behind these. And also release some of their wands. It kind of blocks my doll collection, but I don't really have a whole lot of area to to put them, so this is what I chose for now. But these are the Sailor Moon dolls, and these are all by Bandai, I do believe. I did post a little bit of a picture. I'm still working on this shelf because I have new dolls to add to it. But these are the ones I have in here currently. Some of them are customized. Like this one here is a Japanese doll, but she's in, I think, the Italian Super Sailor Moon dress. Because I had it and I needed a doll for it to wear, so I put that one on there. But I have the Starlights box set back here, which I got at a convention. But yeah, you can't really see a lot that's there, unfortunately, but I have some of the little gashapon figures here along the bottom. And I have some of the magnets that are gashapon down here. But yeah, very cluster kind of mess here of the dolls, but I'm still working on this shelf, and eventually maybe I'll post an update on Instagram or something so you guys can see. But yeah, really clustered shelf for sure. And like I said, it's like really difficult for me to get back here. But I do with what I can with the space that I have. So let me see if there's any more questions. Do you think we will see season 5 in a movie or a TV show? That's a good question. I think the prospect of it being a movie is probably higher because of how short the Star's arc is. It will most likely be a movie. Will it be a two-parter? Probably not. It's only like a 2-book kind of story where the supers section was 4 books. So it might just be one movie, and they might, I really hope that they don't overly condense it. I feel like the Eternal movies was a little too condensed and fast-paced. That was the only reason I didn't really get into it. The animation was really great, though. I did enjoy the animation. It was just the story overall just seemed really rushed, even with it being a 2-parter. I think it should have still been its own anime series, but I really think that the Stars will probably be another movie, which has its, goods and bads. The animation will probably be better with it being a movie, but then, of course, we have to risk possibly it being condensed. So I worry about that a lot. How is your favorite Sailor Moon villains? My favorite Sailor Moon villains, Black Lady for sure. Mistress 9 probably is up there too. I really like her character. Both her and Black Lady have the same kind of like, they're good at heart, but something like some influence makes them bad. And whereas some of the other villains are bad from the beginning. But I guess you could say same thing about the generals, but they didn't really flesh those out too well. But definitely Mistress 9 and Black Lady I would pick. Alright, so we'll go on to the next shelf, which hopefully I can squeeze back here and show you guys a little better. But this is my live action Sailor Moon collection. Back in the early 2000s, I was really big, of course, into Sailor Moon already, and then I heard about the live action series, which I found it online to watch, and I absolutely loved it. I think it came out at the right time for me because it was something new Sailor Moon, and it was different. It was kind of like a Power Rangers thing. I wasn't big into Power Rangers, but I was definitely into something new for Sailor Moon, and that was what I really needed. So I got really big into it, and I started collecting some of it, and I found that the toys at the time were super cheap, and it was basically because they were all new things. So they didn't know how to price it at the time. So the prices for the merchandise was really affordable. So I got a lot of the things like the wands. She had a smartphone, which was awesome. So I got that. And I liked that the inners, like her other guardian friends, had a watch that was also, it was a communicator, but it was also their transformation wand. It was definitely interesting. And if you have not seen Pretty Guardians, I definitely recommend it. It's different, and it's worth seeing for sure. So they did come out with dolls, which was awesome, and toys, like RPG kind of toys. And they came out with a jewelry line, which I collect some of that too. I loved it. So these figures I actually didn't get until much later, but they are really good figures of the likenesses of the girls. I'd like to see more of that for PGSM, but by now we probably won't see it. These ones here are gashapon. But yeah. Of course, that's the only way you'll see Sailor Luna, which a lot of people love Sailor Luna, and some people do not like Sailor Luna, so it's really a preference, but I highly recommend checking that series out if you have not. So let me see if there's any comments or questions for me to answer. Are you going to make any more new YouTube videos? Right now I'm going to be doing lives for a while. I do have a friend that's going to edit some videos for me that I did back in last summer. But I think there's only 3 of those that I have. I might eventually go back to doing YouTube videos, but for right now, due to my time and how I feel, which I've touched a little bit on Twitter, I'm just going to focus on doing lives for right now because I'm more comfortable doing lives and they kind of don't take a lot of my time away. But eventually I probably will. So the next shelf is, of course, my vintage Sailor Moon toy collection of like the wands and the compacts. But I'll show you these first. These are the rest of the gashapon figures. And these are more of the school uniform ones with the exception of Princess Serenity over there. I really like these a lot. I wish they'd made more of them. They're really highly detailed. I think this one wasn't perfectly painted. I think I touched her up a little bit, if I remember correctly. But I really did like them. But let me squeeze in here so I can show you guys the shelf a little better. But I've been working on trying to collect more of these. I have the bend the release of the crescent wand here, which I customized and made my own crystal on top of it, because the crystal that originally came with it was this little pink ring, and I took that off and I molded a crystal base and then put that crystal on top of it. And it actually works. It lights up through the crystal, which is awesome. It looks a little weird because of the base I had to create, but that was the only way that I could do it. But I've used that for cosplay a few times. So, I don't know. I like it. And then I have 2 versions of the Bandai Compact. There's the original pink version. And then I made one gold. And then, of course, they made a Sailor V. This is her throwing crescent moon. But it's also a jewelry box. And it has another one of those rings in it. We didn't get a Sailor V real release or even the episode featuring her, but they released a toy for it. So it's very confusing. And then we have the Cutie Moon Rod, which is here. This is the Irwin version of it. And I recently got the Crystal Star. This is the Japanese release. I haven't shared that in a post or video yet. I just recently set up this shelf. I took everything out and I reset it. And then I have the Japanese, I think this is the Japanese one of the Star Locket. It's the old 90s one. And then the Cutie Moon Rod, which is the North America release one. It has a special button underneath the cap there that makes a different sound than the little stars do. One of my favorite wands from Sailor Moon for sure. I love it. And then I recently got the star wand here. And I couldn't believe I eventually finally got it. And I do have the little like changing discs for it down there. So you can have it for each one of the guardians. And it just makes a weird sound, which is kind of funny. I don't have the Cosmic Heart yet, but I have this one of GE. I'm looking at some online. I'm going to eventually get one, but this one's a placeholder for when I get it. This is a belt buckle. A very huge belt buckle, but I have it here as a placeholder for when I get it. And then I have, this is the Kaleidoscope wand. This is the Japanese one that has the special, like, I guess it's like a little remote control type of thing that makes some of the other toys play sounds and voices and stuff. And that's the wand that activates a lot of it. And this one here actually does the same thing too. I forgot. But yeah, this one has a little like remote control thing on the top. I plan on doing a video probably for Instagram or something showing that off. It's a really neat little feature. And then I have, this is a bootleg. I've had this, oh my gosh, probably since I started doing YouTube videos. I've never gotten the official one yet, but I am looking to do it soon because now that we have the Proplica version, the vintage ones are going down in price a little bit, so I might end up getting it soon. And then I have, this is Chibi Moons Compact. This is not the Japanese one. This is like the Hong Kong release or something. It is official, but the Japanese one actually has Neo Queen Serenity in the inside, and this one has Princess Serenity, so. And then I have the Eternal wand here, which I hope one day that I can complete the whole thing. But, you know, like I said, very picky on pricing, so. But it's beautiful. I also have Chibi Moon's wand back there, which is a North America release. And then I have, oh my gosh, I think this wand and the doll, because she has the same wand in her hand, as you can see. I think this came out in Korea, if I remember correctly. But it's supposed to be official. But I don't know. Like, if you guys know any, like, additional information on that, let me know. I thought it was wacky, and I had to have it. And I think I've touched on that wand and doll in past videos. It's a really wacky release, but I had to have it. And then I have the, I think that was a Bandai Magic Mirror. I used to have that out displayed, but it's kind of an odd thing. I'm not quite sure what the voices are in it, but they're not the original voices. It's kind of like a made-up group of people made a Sailor Moon toy with sound effects. It's a really weird toy, but I don't know. I love weird things like that for things that I love, so I got it. And I have, this is the Super Chibi Moon locket. This is not the one that I think has the remote feature in it. This is the other one they released. But it's still really, really beautiful. And it is official, so it's not a bootleg one. And then I have the Eternal brooch, which I actually just got recently too. And I got an amazing deal on it. It makes that weird beeping sound, but I'm actually just happy to have it in my collection. And then this is the crystal change wand. And I have all the discs for it here. They didn't make a special little box to put these in. They do have a little orb necklace that came with it, but I don't have that. I just have the wand itself. But that was mainly the only thing that I really wanted anyways, so I was satisfied. And of course you can take these out and replace the Mars one for a different one. And then I have, this is like, oh, I don't know, I can't remember the official name for it, but it's a Sailor Stars toy, and it has little rings that you switch out for the top ring that looks like Sailor Moon's Eternal brooch, and it actually says different phrases in Japanese from all the different Guardians. It's a really awesome toy. It's made to look like the little incense burner that Chibi Chibi carries around. I need to do a video on that, or maybe a stream or something to show you that to you guys, because it is really cool. I want to fix it up and take some of the sun damage off of it, but I haven't got around to doing that yet. And then I have the music box. This is one of them. This is the second one they released. It has the Cosmic Heart brooch on it. I've had that for a very long time, but it's It's one of my absolute favorites. And it plays the theme song when you open it. And then this is a bootleg wand. It's a bootleg of Chibi Moon's wand that I bought mainly to customize, to make it look more like it's supposed to. Just for a little fun project, but it plays just a basic random sound effect. I did a video on this as well. But, yeah. So let me see what kind of questions you guys are asking me in case I miss any. Because they go by kind of fast. I see them pop up, but I sometimes miss them. Alrighty. Let's see. What would you think if they made an originals anime season after the 5th arc of the manga? That would be really amazing. I was kind of hoping they'd eventually do that, kind of like how they're doing with Dragon Ball Z. But it doesn't look like that's going to happen. I think Takeuchi, she just kind of wants the story to kind of end at Stars. It would be nice, though, if, like, the Crystal series at least touched more on, like, the wedding and maybe, you know, stuff that happens in, like, the side stories and stuff. That would be awesome. But I don't think they're ever going to be going back to the original 90s, which is sad. Because I think that's a superior anime, even though the animation's not up to par. But I love, like, the extra little episodes that really flush out the characters more. But, I don't know. I could be biased as well because I grew up on it, but I don't know. That's just me. But that would be really awesome if they did that. Let's see. What other Proplica do you want to see next? Like the Eternal Brooch, Twinkle Bell, Mercury's Mini Laptop. Oh, there's so many options. The Stallion Reeve, like I said, I'd like to see that one, but of course I'd love to see the Eternal Sailor Moon Brooch. I think that would be probably my next favorite one to come out. And there's high hopes for that, at least. I don't know about the Stallion Reeve, but I have high hopes for the Eternal Brooch. When did you start collecting stuff? Like, what year? How old were you? I think I started collecting some of the dolls when I was like 13, 14 years old. And I don't think I really got big into it until much later. I think it was like my early 20s, because that's when I started buying off eBay and doing it a lot more. It wasn't just, hey, I like that one thing, let's buy it. I was actually like looking constantly for new merchandise. So yeah, first few items, I was like 13. When I started getting hardcore into it, it was definitely in my early 20s, but I can't say exactly when. All right, so last shelf on this side anyways, and this is going to be the most challenging part. But this is a lot of my media. This is like my VHS collection, my vintage DVD collection. My Super Famicom games are down here. I have some playing card sets down here. That's all vintage. Like, some of them are even bootleg DVDs that I just kind of keep. And CDs. And mostly these are Japanese CDs. I have some of the North America ones, but they only released 3 of those. The rest of them are Japanese releases. Oh. My camera flipped around. I was getting too low to the ground. There we go. I fixed it, I think. But yeah, that's basically that shelf. It's kind of a mess down there, though. This is the first time I've used this stabilizer, so it's kind of messing up on me. I think I fixed it, though. But that is basically my shelf over here. Various shelves. So we'll go over here next. This is going to be an incredibly long video. But I knew it would be, because if you want me to sit and talk about the stuff that I have, it's going to be a long video. So this is basically my wall of plushes over here, which is mostly vintage Sailor Moon ones from Japan. I don't know. I eventually will probably reorganize these in the future, but I don't know. Right now, this is what I have. And then I have some of the wall scrolls that I've had for a really long time. And these are all bootleg ones. I have some official ones, but these ones came out before those official ones came out. And the art on them, I really like. So, I don't really care that they're bootleg. I really like the art on them a lot. A lot of the official ones that I have are out in the hallway, which I've shared before. Nothing too different about those. If you want to see those, check my other live stream that I did, like last year or the year before, and you can see those. And then I have some curtains that I made, which is out of the North America release sheets that came out in the 90s. Just kind of like sit in the background, but behind them. And then this, of course, is my bed. Ooh. I don't know, the orientation keeps changing on this thing. Let me try to fix it. It's not liking all the moving, I don't think. Alright, so this is my bed. And it's basically mostly Luna plushes, because apparently in Japan they absolutely love Luna. And they just keep releasing new plushes of her. Now, the GE ones, of course, which is some of these, they are releasing various characters of them, but they also are releasing the same characters again in different poses, so it's kind of different. Like, you saw him in my last live. He's a puppet, and he's actually based off of one scene from the anime, which is hilarious to me. And then I have a lot of the G ones kind of just hanging from the side. Like these ones here, which I hope to eventually fix. They're kind of like all over the place. Then I have some pillows. These are the little like zoom like plushes that are releasing from the Sailor Moon store in Japan. I've been trying to collect all of them, but you definitely have to use a proxy to get those, because the only way to order them is through Sailor Moon store. And I have the Ichiban Kuji Luna, where she's kind of got her eyes closed. And there's just a lot of Luna plushes. That's all I can say. Like, I have the Luna P ones. Most of these are prize plushes. Like, this one is the Japanese Luna musical plush that came out in the 90s in Japan. I have some pillowcases. These ones came out from Hot Topic. And then I have like the G ones back there. These ones of the cats are also GE. And then this is the 90s pillowcase. And I have the bedspread from the 90s under there somewhere. But unfortunately, you can't really see it. And yeah, just, I don't know, just a ton of plushes of various releases and such. I'm probably going to have to reorganize this eventually, because I just keep collecting more, and I just kind of put them where I think looks the best, but they're kind of messy. And then over here is some of the jewelry that Hot Topic and Box Lunch have been releasing. Of course, I did a video of these not too long ago, like maybe a couple years ago, something like that. But since then, they have released quite a lot more. So it's currently overflowing. I'm thinking I'm not going to buy any more pin boards. I'm just going to display the ones I like the most. And then put the rest of them in like a little box or something. And just for like a little extra, before I show you the last shelf, or the last series of shelves. These are all the dolls I'm currently working on or have worked on. And these ones I just recently did a Instagram video showing how I fixed them up. I have some of the musical ones, or the talking ones, I guess, for supers here, which I fixed up as well. And then I have some more of the like goofy-faced 90s Sailor Moon dolls here. And these two I'm actually like customizing. So I'm not quite done with them yet, but yeah, these are some of the dolls I still need to find spots for on my shelves. And lastly are my Dolphy dolls. And this is the first time I've been sharing them in these dresses, except for Princess Serenity. I posted a video and a picture of her on Instagram, but I've not shared these ones yet, and they've been in those dresses for a while. But I just haven't got around to it yet. Hopefully soon I can share them a little better. But these dresses were made by a Dolphy dress designer. They have an Instagram account. It's the same one that I posted about for Princess Serenity here. So if you're interested, go check my post out on Instagram of Princess Serenity. I did tag them, so. But yeah, they made these ones as well. And they look amazing. I love their poses that I made, that I did. But yeah, I love the princesses stuff. The best thing to come out of Sailor Moon Eternal for me is seeing more of the princesses that you didn't see other than in pictures in like the art books and stuff. They're actually making merchandise for them, where these dresses aren't official. They are making cue baskets, and they are making some gashapon figures of their dresses here, so I'm very excited about that. So yeah, and here I have some of the goodies from the Pretty Guardian fan club. They're just kind of in this bag. I'm not quite sure where I want to put them yet, so they're just kind of there for right now. And I have one of the figures. This is the Moon Crystal Power makeup one. I want to do a video opening that eventually. Video, live stream, something. She's been in the box since I got her a long, long time ago. And that is the book from Supers. This is made by Great Eastern. One episode, there was an author that was making a book about Pegasus and dreams. And that's where this book is inspired by. It's actually a journal, so it's not an actual book, but you can write in it. So it's very, very neat. And then I have, that is the Bluetooth speaker for the Eternal brooch. And then I have some Sailor Moon inspired necklaces from Hot Topic, as well as these snow globes that came out. And then I have the little, this is the candy box, or the cookie box, that came out from USJ, or the Universal Studios Japan. And then getting to the last bit of it, this is the 3 shelves that I have here, kind of in the center of my room. But this features some of the like Sailor Moon, the Super Live merchandise that I got when I went to DC and saw the show. The pictures I printed out just to kind of display with the fan. But it was a really awesome memory, so I wanted to have a little bit extra in case they didn't bring it back. But they are bringing it back in some form, so I'm really excited about that. But These are the Gashapon Sailor Moon World figurines that came out early 2000s. I put them in a case to kind of keep the dust off them, but I didn't put them all in there because they wouldn't all fit. And then down here is some drinking mugs, some various things, pins. And then here I have some more of the Bandai dolls. These are the ones that released in Canada, I think, or North America in a whole, I think. And then I have some of the, like this is the USJ chalice. It's a drinking cup. And then this one here is the Stallion Reeve. That I think it lights up in different colors. You can't see Pegasus in it, but it's the closest thing I have to a life-size version of it, I'd say. Some candles, some mugs, some pins. And then these are the blind bag key rings that came out, I think, early last year during summertime, something like that. And then this shelf here actually has the new English release of the manga, the Eternal books. And I have some of the new the sparkling water drinks down here, which I was thinking about doing a live video of me taste testing them. And then I have some more drinking cups there, and a mug. And then this shelf here has more mugs. And this isn't even all my mugs. I have quite a lot of other mugs as well. I just don't have them all displayed yet, so I'm trying to figure out where I want to put them. And then I have the Monopoly game here, which I've never opened yet, but I saw it, and a friend of mine brought hers over, and we played it a couple of times. And then here is some more drinking cups, and these are the Handy Sands hand sanitizer that released. It's both the first one and the second release. And then I have more mugs. So that's pretty much it, guys. My stabilizer that I bought, this video was so long that the battery died. So that's why the video got more shakier, because my stabilizer died, like the battery. So I'm sorry about that. I'm trying to figure out if I can get it off of here. So I can, there we go. I got it off. But yeah, the battery died in my stabilizer, so unfortunately that happens. So I'm going to see if you guys left me any more questions before I end the stream, because this is a very, very long video. I don't even know who's going to watch this, but maybe somebody will. Let's see. How many hours total would you guess it took you to decorate this room? Well, when I moved here, it took me about a week to set up what I had already brought. But since then, I actually have collected more stuff. And like these 3 shelves I just showed you guys over here, these were added later. So, I don't know. Probably a couple of weeks. Depending on time. I don't really know the hours. Whatever 2 weeks is. Like, I probably sleep 7 hours a day. The rest of the remaining time goes to Sailor Moon. I'm not real sure. But it did take me about a week to set what I had already brought up in here. So let's see. I hope I got all your questions, or at least the majority of them. If I missed your question, I do apologize, because they go by really quickly, and sometimes it's bound to happen. Do you like Hot Topic or Box Lunch for getting Sailor Moon stuff? Probably Box Lunch more. They seem like they get like the best stuff through Box Lunch. some of it is kind of, I don't know, better quality, I think, too. Especially the jewelry. I think the jewelry has, like, the better quality stuff. But yeah, I love Box Lunch. I think they get the better stuff. Do you think they'll do Dolphy Dolls of Chibiusa and the Outers? I don't think that they will. But I wonder what their prices would be. I'm trying to currently get, like, some of the other Dolphys, like the Disney ones, like the Frozen ones, and they are outrageously priced this time, and I don't know if it's because they're a different model than these, they're the Super Dolphys, which are a little bit more realistic kind of looking than the Sailor Moon ones, but I don't know. I'd love for them to actually just make a Chibiusa. If they just made Chibiusa, I probably would be happy. But I don't know. That's a tough call. I think since it's taking so long, probably not. But that's just my guess. I love them in their princess dresses. Which one is your favorite dress from the Sailor Guardians from the Eternal movie? Probably Princess Serenity. I'm kind of biased. It's probably the prettiest one, I think. A lot of the other ones are okay though too. I do love Jupiter. She has a lot of flowing like layers to her dress, but I don't know. I can't remember what the outers look like. I think they're pretty similar to the inners though, if I had to guess. So I don't know. I'm pretty partial to Princess Serenity. I think that is most of them. What is your favorite Disney princess? Belle. Belle is my favorite Disney princess, for sure. She's the first one that I remember seeing in the theater. And I think her demeanor, I love her personality and stuff. So, yeah, definitely Belle is my favorite. But this live stream is really long, guys. But I'm going to try to do another one in a couple of weeks. And I'll probably do a poll of some of my ideas of what I'm interested in doing a video on, and you guys can vote. But I'm very excited to be doing videos or even just streams on YouTube again, so I'll definitely try to do another one very, very soon. But thank you guys so much for coming in and asking questions and hanging out. And I hope this video is better than my last tour of my Sailor Moon room. I tried to get a stabilizer this time, and it worked pretty good until the battery died. Because I wasn't expecting it to be this long, but I have a lot of things to show. But if I did not answer your question, go back when this stream goes live, or, you know, it gets posted in my thread, and ask me the question again, and I will answer it if I missed it. But thanks, guys, for hanging out. I had a lot of fun, and I hope you guys had fun, too. But I will see you guys in a couple weeks with a new live stream of some sort. But I'll see you later. All right, bye.